CapitalNumbers Infotech was born with the idea of providing digital solutions to businesses. This includes mobile, web, and e-commerce. Recently listed, let's talk to the management to understand more about the company, its businesses, and what its vision is. I have with me Mukul Gupta, the promoter, CMD, and CEO of CapitalNumbers Infotech. Hi, Mukul, and let's start off by getting you to introduce the company to all of our viewers. If you had to describe the services that CapitalNumbers offers and a little bit about the genesis of the company.
Fantastic. First and foremost, to Mubina and your viewers, thank you so much for having CapitalNumbers on this platform. My name is Mukul Gupta. I am the founder and CEO of the company. To briefly introduce CapitalNumbers, so we basically help companies become faster, more efficient, and more profitable by leveraging technologies such as cloud and artificial intelligence. Our company basically started in 2012. We are a bootstrapped company. We have grown every year on a year-on-year basis since the past 12 years since we came into being. We have also remained profitable since inception. So there has never been a year where we have not posted decent profits. And we are also a litigation-free company. So to date, we do not have any government or non-government litigation pending on us or going on the company. We are a 100% export-driven company. So about 70% of the revenue basically comes from the UK and US markets. We are also one of the few companies in SME space to have the ISO 9001, which is around quality management, ISO 27001, which is around information security, and SOC 2 Type 2 compliant company. The reason it is important is when companies are looking for providers based in India, development partners based in India, it is very important for them to be able to trust a company and know that their intellectual property and data is going to be safe with GDPR and all that. It's very critical for them to be able to trust their partners. And we are one of the few companies in India which has invested in the infrastructure and the processes to prove to our clients that we are committed to the information security and data protection. We have also won around 20 plus national and international awards. So the Financial Times has continuously awarded us since past 4 years for our excellent performance. This last calendar year, we have won awards from the Economic Times, from the Times of India. I personally have been received award from the Economic Times in 2021 from one of the most promising entrepreneurs of India. Clutch, which is leading B2B directories for finding IT providers, has ranked us one of the top 1,000 IT providers globally. What we are most proud of is we are one of the highest rated development companies in India as well. What I mean by that is when our prospective clients are going on to platforms such as Clutch, Trustpilot, G2, and good firms and looking for vendors, we rank number one across this platform based on 300 plus 5-star reviews that we have received across these platforms. We also ranked very high on Glassdoor, which is an employee review portal, and Ambition Box, which is done by Naukri.com, where we have a 4.5 plus rating, which is unheard of in IT industry, which basically goes on to prove that not only we are a company which is highly qualified based on our certifications, which has the right clientele based on our reviews, but we are loved by our employees as well.
Now, you're the founder. So tell us that along your career journey and along your career path, how did CapitalNumbers come to be and what were the early beginnings like?
So I started my journey in 2002. Basically, I was working with another IT services company in 2008 to 2012. I spent most of my time in the UK, where digital marketing was just becoming a buzzword, like AI is a buzzword today. In 2012, digital marketing was a buzzword, and I realized staying in London that the marketing teams who have the mandate for doing digital marketing do not have the tech skills to require the digital assets required by them to do marketing activities on. So with that mindset, I saw there's a market gap where all of these agencies, all of these marketing teams want to go digital, but they do not know how. And I saw a gap in the particular market, and I thought that, okay, it would be a good idea to get into a services business where I can support marketing teams to create digital assets for them. With that idea in mind, we were researching several brand names of what should we call our companies, and obviously wanted to create something that didn't existed. And we thought, okay, CapitalNumbers is something that doesn't exist. So capital letters exist, but CapitalNumbers don't exist. So why not create something that doesn't exist? So we chose CapitalNumbers as our brand name. In fact, one of the first clients that we signed up was Harvard Health Policy Review. They came onto our website and submitted an inquiry for creation of a website through which they can do their magazine subscription and content behind the paywall. It's very common tech now. Back then in 2012-13, it was not so common. I knew it would be a very competitive contract. So I basically told the Harvard guys that, okay, hey, I will do this project for free, but what I want you to do is, if you like the work that we have done, why don't you go ahead and endorse us on your website so that, people know that you do a good job. Thankfully, they agreed to that and we did a good job. So they went ahead and endorsed us on their website. And then after that, they also introduced us to Harvard Science Review. So we did Harvard Health Policy Review, Harvard Science Review. And then I used that as my sort of marketing hook to approach other bigger companies and say that, okay, if Harvard can trust us, then so can you. So that was our marketing hook, and we used that to get bigger and better contracts. So fast forward to 2024, we currently serve global clientele with 500 plus employees working out of India and supporting for some of the major brands worldwide.
So from bootstrapped to now, of course, the IPO and gaining that public status in June 2024. Tell us, how does this process of becoming listed and going public essentially align with your long-term vision for the company?
So yeah, as the company has been growing at a particular pace, we now feel that we have the right platform where we have built the right management team, the technology expertise to sort of scale and become a national player. So obviously, with the main idea behind transitioning from a private company to a public company is to sort of get access to the capital so that we can sort of scale faster and become like a national player. And obviously, also by transitioning into a public company, what we also want to is a better brand image and credibility among potential clients and employers as well. So as we want to scale our management team, as we want to target bigger and larger clients, it becomes more important for us to be able to demonstrate that, hey, we're a public company. You can trust on our corporate governance. You can trust what we are doing. And that is the main reason why we transition from private to a public company. Our target is that really in the next 3 to 5 years, we see CapitalNumbers as a nationally recognized player, number one. We're just being a regional player. So we enjoy quite a good reputation in Eastern India, typically in Kolkata region. So we enjoy a good reputation over here. But now we feel that, okay, we have matured enough and we have the capability to be a national player, to go to that level and obviously become a firm mid-cap player in the stock market as well.
We're looking at your numbers in the last 5 odd years, and it's doubled the revenue and the profit. Last year, your profit surged quite significantly, 50%. So if you could talk to us about the key drivers of the top line and the bottom line and the sustainability as well of these growth figures.
So first, if you look at revenue, so the reason for revenue growth is again coming back to our company's credentials that we have built. So the capability to deliver projects as demonstrated across these platforms, our quality certifications and our ability to represent ourselves, market ourselves is what is driving the revenue. And obviously consistently investing in technology, bringing new services in front of our clients. Profitability is basically a determinant of several decisions that we have taken. So we used to do a lot of subcontracting in a sense that post-COVID, and then the access to talent was not as available in the eastern part. So we sort of did a lot of subcontracting. So we cut down all that. We adopted business practices such as having a lean bench. So bench basically means, for those who don't understand IT jargon, many of your audience might not. So bench basically means employees who are basically sitting and doing nothing, not doing revenue generating work. So by reducing our bench and adopting a nimble strategy where we are doing just-in-time recruitment, those practices, obviously going to higher margin services. So instead of just doing standard digital engineering, focusing more on artificial intelligence, your cloud engineering and your development on platform system integrations with Salesforce and all that. So going higher up in the ladder, along with coupled with the HR practices that we have, is what drove our profitability.
Could you tell us a little bit about your geographic presence? Of course, a big chunk of your revenue comes from the US. You have a subsidiary that you operate from over there. So could you tell us about where the pie is coming in from, where the maximum of the revenue chunk is actually coming in from, and how is it essentially going to change perhaps?
Yeah, so if you look at our company's DNA, my entire career was spanning past 21, 22 years, I have always lived and worked abroad. So CapitalNumbers as a company is very finely tuned or more adjusted to working with the Western world. So we are more natural in that environment where we are working with international clientele. I do not see any change in that. Our revenue geographical mix is pretty diversified. So US contributes about 50% of the revenue. United Kingdom currently contributes about 20% of the revenue. Remaining 30% till last financial year mainly came from Western Europe. This year, we have now started investing in the Middle Eastern markets as well. So a lot of revenue is also coming from, we are seeing good initial response over there. So that's the kind of revenue breakdown that we have geography-wise.
So like you said, US is a big market for you and now Middle East as well. Could you tell us where your focus will be in terms of expansion?
US will definitely remain a very important market for us. One of the key things that we want to do is expansion of our sales and marketing activities in the US. So currently, even though we have a US based subsidiary, but I mean, we are basically a 100% offshore company. So we do not have any local presence, by which I mean, we do not really have physical presence of manpower sitting there interacting with the client. So one of the first things that we want to do is in the key markets that we are currently operating in, which is again US and UK, we want to set up local teams. So in US, we want to establish at least 3 local offices where we will have local personnel along with the personnel in UK as well. In this financial year, we have already set up an office in the Netherlands and we have already appointed a director in Netherlands region to basically look at the Western European business. So that will be one of the key things we will be doing is establishing a local presence. What it will do for the company is 2 things. First and foremost is we will be able to do many more events. So currently all our business basically comes through digital in a sense of the digital marketing work that we are able to do to bring business in. We do not do a lot more local events. So doing local conferences is something that we are very keen on doing in terms of expansion of our marketing. That will make us, that will increase the widen the net and we will have a lot more consumer interaction, customer interactions. The second thing that will happen is we currently are a pure offshore provider. So we do not get 100% wallet share of our customers who are in the banking and health tech. So they are very cautious and they want to sort of hedge their bets and have multiple vendors work on a contract. Because again, they want to make sure that they want to de-risk their development as well. So by having a local presence as well, we believe we will have much larger wallet share as well. We will also be able to command little bit higher prices. Again, when we are a pure offshore player, our prices are a little bit sort of not muted, I would say, but let's say it's standard. By being a hybrid player where we have a local presence, we will be able to command slightly higher pricing as well. So that's what we are seeing. And again, what we are also considering is expansion of service lines as well. So this year already we are expanded into Salesforce partnerships, into Adobe partnerships. So we are getting more into system integration business. So we'll continue to pursue those ideas as well.
You mentioned that you work on just-in-time hiring. Would you say that finding skilled workers could be a bit of a challenge for you? Or if not that, then are there any other challenges that you face while running the business on a day-to-day basis?
So just-in-time hiring is a strategy we adopted based on the current market conditions. So definitely it was not there during COVID times when demand for tech talent was at its peak and freshers were commanding 10, 15 lakh rupees as salaries. Right now, we are seeing that, okay, there is a demand, so there is availability of manpower. So if we sort of adopt an approach where instead of having a large bench, we just go ahead and find talent who are just available within a short notice. A short notice is 1 month or less. So whereas as soon as a particular contract gets into a stage where we are about 90% confident that, okay, this contract might get closed, we start the sourcing portion of that. So we have a very well integrated operations process where as soon as the sales process is about reaching a maturity and a deal reaches a maturity, the operations teams are notified and we start the sourcing. So as soon as the client is onboarded, we have 30 days gap to sort of find the resource as well. That policy, that process we have been fine-tuning since the past year or so, a lot more than a year or so, since post-COVID, and it has worked well for us. So in a sense that we don't see any challenge with that. It is actually what has led to improvement in margins. As the market dynamics change, we will definitely adopt. We do maintain a bench in the sense that we always have a bench of about, let's say, 25 people odd who are always on the bench, but it is still not like a big bench number in terms of what you would expect from like what we see in the general IT companies.
Could you share a little bit about your capital allocation plans? I think one of the purposes of raising money via the IPO was to, look at inorganic growth. The target has not been identified, of course. But could you just share how and where you're planning to allocate your capital over the next couple of years?
So in terms of capital allocation plans, we have earmarked around 20 crores for our inorganic acquisition. Now, the inorganic acquisition strategy, we haven't identified any particular company yet. The 2 ideas that we are pursuing behind inorganic acquisition would be either talent or technology. So we realize that every year we would be adding around 250 employees to the company. And we have already set up a development center in Gurgaon, which is currently at around 50, 60 seater, if I'm not wrong. So we are currently thinking of, okay, instead of building the capacity from ground up, why not sort of go ahead and acquire a smaller company? So this is something that again, we haven't, the play behind that would be either to access to talent, buy a company out which already has manpower available, or to acquire a company which has a technology available which we can then take to market. So that's the kind of a thinking that we have around acquisition as well. We'll be doing multiple acquisition, and 20 crore is just the initial that we have sort of earmarked for it. Any excess that is required will be funded from our cash surplus that we currently have. We have also sort of earmarked around 18 crores for technological advancement. So we have identified 10 key strategic initiatives where we want to sort of expand our development capabilities. This can be thought of as 10 additional service line that would be adding over in the next 3 years to cater to a bigger market as well. We have earmarked around 15 crore as business development expenses. So these are basically expenses that we will incur to market our current services that we currently have. So to these local events I'm talking about and all those things. And then we have earmarked around 5 crores for investment in our subsidiary in the US.
Your FY24 annual report speaks on diversifying your product and service offerings. So could you share what are the new products and services you'll be offering? What's in the pipeline?
In this financial year, so when we are looking at bigger companies who are, I'm not talking about like large cap companies, but mid cap companies who are double our size, and we are kind of doing a competitive mapping of, okay, what is it that they are doing that we are not doing, and how we can grow a scale from here. Beyond market reach, what we realize that they also have a lot of additional service capabilities that we currently do not have. So already we identified such areas where we think that we can grow. In this financial year itself, we have taken up Salesforce partnerships. So we became a Salesforce partner. This part of service didn't exist in our company in the previous financial year. It only became a part of our service offering. In this financial year, we have already signed up 4 contracts in Salesforce. We have again taken up an Adobe Commerce partnership. We're focusing on Adobe Commerce. So we have taken on one of the largest gold bullion companies in the US and helping them with the implementation of their e-commerce platform on Adobe Commerce. We have also taken on Microsoft partnerships. So analytics, we are basically focusing on Microsoft-driven products, so Power BI and all that. So this is all something that we have already taken on for this financial year to grow over there. And we want to keep adding these competencies every year.
I understand that you're also facing competition, or rather one of the key risks is onshore and offshore IT services. Could you share how you're planning to mitigate those risks?
So IT is definitely a competitive business. There is no arguing about that. The question is, how do we stand apart and what we can do? So what we do is we have built, what we currently have is what are the strengths that we currently have is when a company is sort of evaluating us with our peers or a company slightly larger than us, then what they will find is CapitalNumbers is priced at, let's say, exactly like them or maybe slightly higher. But it is not that there's a huge pricing gap. They will find that CapitalNumbers has a very solid background in terms of its management team. So we are not a promoter-run company. We are a very professionally managed team. All of our managers, department heads have 20 plus years of experience, experts in what they are doing. We have obsessed about IP and quality. So we are one of those companies with all the certifications. We have excellent customer ratings as well. So when they're kind of doing their research and trying to find out vendors and doing an apple-to-apple comparisons, they will see that, okay, this is a company which has the quality, which has the infrastructure, which has the people, which has the right credentials. So we believe a combination of all these will make us stand apart in the marketplace as compared to our other peers.
And you've appointed, I think, 3 new independent directors, a CFO. Post-listing, of course, your life will be significantly different. So could you tell us how you're prepping for, managing a publicly listed companies with your new board structure as well?
So I come from a non-finance background. So, and then what has happened is, as we took on a decision of doing this, become a public company, we started ramping up our management capabilities and the creation of an independent board. It's very important for me, not only for corporate governance, but also as a sounding board, because you kind of get into this loop where you keep hearing your own thoughts and you do what you're pleasing as a private company with nobody can question you as a CEO of the company. But now that I have a board, I feel responsible to them. I have a way to run ideas through them, and they basically sometimes help mentor me, sometimes point the things that I haven't thought of. And it has overall led to a much more better corporate governance in the company.
What would you say are your long-term goals and vision for Capital Numbers, be it the offerings that the company will have or the financials that you'd like the company to achieve in the long term? And also, who are the key personnel in your company who are helping you achieve those goals?
So in the next 3 years, we are looking at least doubling our company. That's our short-term goal. In the next 5 years, I want to see Capital Numbers as a national player and we're a strong mid-cap company on the listed space. So that's the kind of a goal that I have. There are several people who are going to play a key role in the company. For example, our director of operations, who has been a part of the company in the past 12 years, is one of the founding members. So ensuring our clients are happy, ensuring that we are able to take care of our clients is basically his responsibility. Ensuring that delivery mechanism is in place. Our CTO, again, 20 plus years of experience. As we are investing in newer technologies, he will, and I know he's already stretching himself, learning new things, figuring things out, building teams, helping me create teams around specific areas. As we are doing global expansion, legal and compliance becomes a very important part. So our CFO again is going to be somebody whose shoulder I would be literally be sitting on, because he will be the one who will be doing the heavy lifting when it comes to all the compliance and making sure that a company is not doing anything which it shouldn't do. And then obviously a lot of things will come from our sales and marketing team as well, who have a tough job, exciting job rather, ahead of them to make sure that they take the name and the brand name of the company far and wide and help us achieve our goal.
All right, Mukul. This was a great conversation. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much, Uvina. Thank you so much.
And that was, of course, Capital Numbers Infotech right here on Small Cap Spotlight. If you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button. Stay tuned to Small Cap Spotlight as we'll be back with yet another interesting small cap company right here on the channel.